Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Legacy Politics. Thanks so much for tuning in today on this beautiful Monday afternoon here in Mississippi. I hope it's beautiful where you're at. It is just about 61 and sunny here in Mississippi this morning, so I hope everyone is doing well, and if you're tuning in, that you have some beautiful weather wherever you're at as well as we do here in Mississippi. Thanks so much for tuning into the show today. I think that it's been a really cool couple of days for me, a really hard couple of days for me because I've been a little bit sick, and that's why I wasn't able to get a video out last week. I was rather busy, and so I do apologize for that, but we do have a video today, so thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be looking at a real broad overlook at the 2022 midterm elections. So we're going to have all of that and more on your Monday edition of Legacy Politics. So like I said on the intro, thanks so much for tuning in today. It really does mean a lot that you'll take a few minutes out of your day to listen to me talk about politics. It is a big, a pretty divisive topic, so I thanks so much for tuning in. Today we're looking at an overarching view of the 2022 midterms. As right now, Poll Tracker has it 51% to 41% Republicans leading in the congressional ballot poll. Washington Post and ABC, normally abysmal pollers, but they have Republicans up 10 in the generic ballot in 2022. And I think what we saw in Virginia, what we saw in the elections last 2 weeks ago, is something that literally every Democrat should be probably crying to their mommy right now, because it's going to be very hard for them to get any momentum going into the 2022 election. As we see here in competitive Senate states with Arizona, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, New Hampshire, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, Biden's job approval is just at 33%. That is abysmal for Democrats. Abysmal. And the generic congressional ballot in these competitive Senate swing states, 23 points for Republicans. 58% to 35%. That is absolutely unheard of. And what it used to be, the poll I just saw you from the Washington Post on 11/7, which is this one. This poll came out 11/7 through 10 from the Washington Post and ABC. 23% for Republicans ahead. So let's talk about Virginia. Obviously, big night for Republicans on this night here in November, or rather, back in a couple of weeks ago, November 3rd of 2021. Very big night for Republicans. As I predicted, Glenn Youngkin did win this election, and he won it by around 2 points, which is interesting because that's exactly the polling data that Trafalgar had. So any Democrat who thinks that Trafalgar is not a good source definitely got it wrong, because Trafalgar nailed it right on the money there in Virginia. And if you look at Virginia in the 2020 presidential election, you can easily see how Glenn Youngkin did this. He definitely got voters to come out and vote for him. Now, he did not outperform Donald Trump in total vote share, but the votes for Terry McAuliffe were not there. Joe Biden had almost 800,000 votes more than him in the 2020 election, and in the 2021 election here in Virginia, in the most obvious county, which is Arlington County. You remember I talked about this on my video. I talked about how actually you're going to see a lot of the voting from Arlington County be a little bit closer than it was in 2020. So look at this. Terry McAuliffe got 73,000 votes from Arlington County. How much did Joe Biden get in the 2020 election? 105,000 votes. That's basically 30,000 votes that are just not there for Terry McAuliffe, right? And he lost by 63,000. So it was definitely a base vote. It was a vote to get your base out and vote. And Terry McAuliffe did not do that, and that's why Virginia is red. But it's not only that. Lieutenant Governor went to Republicans. Attorney General went to Republicans. The House of Delegates was flipped by Republicans. Just an unbelievable night to get the Commonwealth of Virginia back to the Republican Party. And when we look at the Senate seats for 2022, it's not just Virginia the other night. New Jersey, where polls had Murphy to win by over 10 points, Murphy skinned it out by the grit of his teeth. It was close all night. Philip Murphy didn't even take a lead until 4 in the morning when more ballots came in from Essex County. I mean, this is just abysmal for Democrats. And you look at Pennsylvania, how all the down ballot elections went to Republicans, Supreme Court Justice, Superior Court Justice, and all the other races that the Republicans were not supposed to win, which they did win. And not only that, in Minneapolis, this is a big one. Minneapolis in their ballot measure, question number 2, replace the police department with public safety department, and they said no. So once again, the people want the police, even in a state like Minnesota. But not only that, let's look about New York. New York, Republicans won some big issues here in New York. As you saw, allow legislators to pass same-day voter registration. Republicans won that. Allow legislator to pass no excuse absentee voting, and that's absolutely was a no in the column. And make various changes to redistricting process. Democrats lost on that issue too. You can see that there's just a trend going on here that if we look at the 2022 Senate seats, as I filled out all of the safe states for Republicans here, you're looking at a possible unbelievable turn of events in the 2020 midterms. I think I did a prediction video, and you can go check it out on the 2022, my way too early predictions, and I had Democrats controlling the House. Well, after last night, my goodness, and this is not going to be my final election, but I'm going to show you how easily Republicans, where I think they can get a baseline of 54 seats. A baseline of 54 seats. Now, Arizona starting off is going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, you have Mark Kelly there, who actually just came out recently and said he's against guns in a more broad way than he said it in 2020, which barely got him across in 2020. So I think Republicans with right polling and right campaigning can definitely take Arizona back for them for a Senate seat. Nevada's going to flip. Nevada, I think that Cortez Masto is a really overrated candidate. She's just not a good person, and the Republicans did very well there in the 2020 election. Obviously, Colorado's going to be interesting. I don't think Republicans will flip the Colorado Senate seat, but it will be interesting. Obviously, Chuck Grassley is going to hold in Iowa. That's not a problem. Ohio's trending more and more red. It doesn't matter at this point. As far as Ohio, it's a red state. I don't care what the polls say. North Carolina is going to be a pretty close. Georgia, if we're talking about Georgia, if we talk about Virginia, Virginia trending way back to the right after a 2020 election. Why would not Georgia trend back to the right? Herschel Walker is running a great campaign, and Chuck Warnock, Warnock is not doing anything in Georgia that's really helping out that state. Florida, obviously red there. Wisconsin, I think Wisconsin's going to flip back to the Republicans. Joe Biden barely even won it in 2020, and why wouldn't it? The ballot measures in Pennsylvania show that the Republicans still have a lot of ground to make there in Pennsylvania, and they'll take that seat. Even if Sununu does not run, which I think, that's right, he actually just said that he wasn't going to run. I mean, New Hampshire, it's going to be close. I don't know who's going to win, but look at this. I mean, if Republicans get it, 54 seats is the baseline. And then they can start to think about taking Colorado. They can start to try and take other states as well, maybe Vermont, maybe Maryland. It's going to be close in Maryland. Man, and not only that, but in 2024, you're going to baseline take 4 more seats here, and you're looking at a possible 60, a filibuster-proof Senate, which is honestly just unbelievable. And in the governor's map in 2022, the governor race, not only will all the safe states be here for Republicans, Republicans might sweep all of the toss-up states. Talking about New Jersey being such a tight race just a few weeks ago. Now, I do think, it'll stay blue, but my goodness, if literally New Jersey, if Republicans even campaigned there more than they did in 2021, why would that not be even closer? Georgia's a given, and as far as Republican governor, Florida, obviously, Ohio, obviously, Virginia is probably going to be safe red. With his Glenn Youngkin isn't probably going to do much, but he's still going to do more than anything the Democrats will put up. And as you saw, that huge vote swing in 2021, I think the Republicans will get Arizona. They'll get Nevada. They'll get, Texas, my goodness, Texas. Beto O'Rourke actually just said he was going to run for governor, the person who wants to buy back guns. Do you think that's going to go well in Texas? I'm I'm going to assume not. So, I mean, it's just painful. And if you see here in the Senate race in Georgia, 75.7% of the polling from Trafalgar, 75.57% Herschel Walker in a primary. So, obviously, he's a very popular candidate, and he's going to take on Raphael Warnock in that race. So, Colorado, New Mexico, Michigan right now. Michigan is not favored. Whitmer is not favored. I think Michigan will go red. Wisconsin will go red. Pennsylvania will go red. Maine could be a flip state. I mean, you're looking at all of these races that are just, with the trends are right now. I mean, why wouldn't the Republicans just sweep every single tight race in governor elections? It's not a far-fetched claim. I mean, this isn't my prediction, obviously. There's a lot more data that needs to come out over the next several months, but the weight of how the Republicans just obliterated the Democrats 2 weeks ago. Man, you're talking about another year of Biden. You're talking about another year of Trump endorsements. You're talking about a lot of momentum going into these 2022 midterms. And the House, given the Republicans will most likely take back the House, they're only down 10 seats. They only need 5 to take back the House, which is literally the easiest thing ever. We'll get into more House stuff. You're talking about a 54-seat Republican majority Senate, a majority in the Republican Party in the House, and you're talking about Republicans really having a lot of say in governor elections in 2022. 2022 will probably be one of the biggest red waves we've seen in a while. And I think it's interesting. Jen Psaki on Twitter just tweeted this out or yesterday. She said, for anyone who needs to hear it, the vice president is not only a vital partner to the POTUS, but a bold leader who has taken on key important challenges facing the country, from voting rights to addressing root causes of migration to expanding broadband. Now, I do think it's interesting that the press secretary has to tweet out that the vice president is a vital partner to POTUS. I think that is super interesting to the president. Now, a lot of people are thinking that the president and Vice President Kamala Harris aren't on good speaking terms right now, and for the press secretary to tweet something like this out, this should be known. This should not be something that she has to tweet out. So I think that's very interesting. Also, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, since her department from Congress, has talked more and more about conservative issues. The government is already too big and powerful as it is. That is one of the biggest Republican issues. When I went to a conference in Florida, the biggest thing in the conference was that big government sucks, right? So if we're talking about big government sucks, and Tulsi Gabbard is now saying the government is already too powerful as it is and is against the Build Back Better bill, and she's constantly on Fox News with Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity, I don't know what's going on here. She may not be completely against the Democratic Party, but I would not be shocked if Tulsi Gabbard switched her party affiliation in the next few years or so. That would not be a shock to me. So as we look over what's going to happen in 2022, this is just a brief overview. The Republicans are looking at 54 seats as a bare minimum, in my opinion, if the trends continue. You're talking about the Republicans getting pretty much every swing state governor race in 2022. And you're talking about the Republicans easily retaking the House, which would be a sad sign for Joe Biden, with a 33% approval as we go into 2024, where the momentum will all be on Donald Trump's side, and he should cruise to victory. And I think in the next couple of weeks, I'll do a very early 2022 prediction, for presidential prediction. So that's my 2022 overview. Very good night for Republicans 2 weeks ago, and an even better night is coming next year on election night in 2022. So guys, thanks very much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't already. Comment down below on what future videos you would like to see, and thanks so much for tuning in this morning and this afternoon, or whatever time it is you're tuning in. Have a great day. Legacy Politics, out.